what's up? This is part 6 of my series going over the Death Note anime and manga and finding the differences between the two. If you haven't seen any of the other parts, I have a playlist on my channel and you can also find it up in the corner. In the last episode, we got to see L and Light meeting in person, playing a game of tennis and having some coffee. At the end, we got a teaser that Kira sent tapes into a TV station, and let me tell you, where they fell short with Shoko, they make up for with this arc. I don't want to waste any more time, so let's get right into it. We start this episode with Light looking over the sunrise and the task force talking about Shoko's disappearance and the lack of leads.
We're talking about someone who's been missing for 4 months already. Chances are she's probably dead.
If you're right about that, I find it odd that we haven't found her body yet.
This is interrupted when Watari comes in and tells them to turn on the news. This is when we get the payoff to the teaser from the last episode and the news team starts to play one of the tapes.
Kira has instructed us to air the second tape today at exactly 5:59 p.m., and we do intend to comply with his demands.
The tape starts with Kira showing his abilities by killing several people on live TV, and L tries to get the broadcast to stop.
Stop this broadcast! We can't let him finish!
Get Sakura TV on the line!
Nobody at the station is picking up their phones, so Ukita rushes to the station to get the broadcast to stop. We then cut to Sancho turning off the TV in the hospital, and Chief Yagami asks for it to be turned back on since he's the lead investigator.
Darling, this can't be good for your health. Please, you have to rest.
Sachiko.
We cut back to Ukita, who's at the station, but the guard isn't letting him in, and before he can shoot the glass, Ukita has a heart attack. Even though he couldn't reach his life alert, the team still sees it on the TV and they go into panic mode.
You told us that Kira couldn't kill without a name! So how could this happen?
The aliases and fake police IDs were worthless. What are we gonna do, El?
While Aizawa thinks Kira might have all their information, El deduces that Kira could just need a face at this point and he could be in the area.
Initially, I deduced that Kira needed both a name and a face to kill, but from what we've just seen, I'd say it's not entirely impossible that Kira can kill with only a face.
This puts the team at a deadlock with not being able to go near the station but also needing to stop the broadcast. This is when we cut back to the hospital and see that Chief Yagami is missing, and we get one of the best scenes of the entire show. After crashing through the front doors, Chief Yagami makes his way to the station director and just lets his fucking hog out.
If we stop this broadcast, he'll kill all of us.
Shut up! You're gonna be killed right here and now if you don't give those tapes to me!
What?
Chief Yagami gets a bag with the tapes and the letter, and the police start to pull up to the scene, but L calls the chief of police and tells him that his men are in danger.
If you don't take control of this situation quickly, there will be a disaster.
But technically, we're not supposed to be involved in this case.
After this, we get a web of phone calls with Chief Yagami on one phone with L and the chief of police on another phone with L, where they're coordinating an exit strategy.
Mr. Yagami, listen carefully. In exactly 5 minutes, I want you to come out the front entrance.
You want me to exit through the front entrance?
After the 5-minute mark, Chief Yagami makes his way to what he thinks is his death, but then we see a wall of officers shielding the entrance and a car waiting for the chief.
Thank you. I'll drive myself.
I understand.
After Chief Yagami leaves, we hear the police making their statement on the matter, and we see the empty nest where Kira was.
You are not to remove your helmets! There you have it. The police refuse to cooperate with Kira.
After dropping off the tapes and letters, the team goes over the tapes and the letter is sent to the crime lab. This is also the point in the series where we get to see the start of Silver Fox Yagami.
These are all of the tapes in an envelope. Everything Kira sent to the station is in here.
I can't thank you enough.
I think I'd better rest for a minute. Oh.
After analyzing the tapes, Kira wants more criminals to be broadcast, with a priority for people that have assaulted or taken advantage of others. He also wants the task force and Elle to appear on TV and give a statement, which is an obvious trap.
He needs us to reveal our faces. That way he can kill us if the police do anything suspicious. In other words, he'll hold our lives as insurance.
The task force airs the tape for No, and we get to see Light reacting to the events that have taken place.
It looks like I've even got God on my side now. Well, I suppose it's actually a god of death. Seems like it.
Even though it's kind of obvious that Light wasn't behind it all, it's still great at keeping you guessing, with him only showing up in the beginning and the second Kira only being revealed at the end. While Light's ecstatic that he has a follower with Shinigami eyes that hates Elle, he's also worried about the second Kira getting caught and besmirching the Kira name.
I can't forgive this imposter for the way he's tarnishing Kira's image with these senseless killings. Not to mention, if he slips up and gets caught, the Death Note could be discovered, and that I cannot allow.
Light decides that it's time to join the task force so he can keep an eye on the second Kira and Elle. We then cut to the task force where Elle tells the team that he thinks that there's two Kiras.
No, we should think of him more as a second Kira.
A second Kira? I don't understand. Why do you think there's a copycat?
This is because the victims were TV hosts and not criminals, so not only did the second Kira need to prove themselves, they also need to kill someone that the real Kira wouldn't get to.
Ryuzaki, if you had to put a number on it, what's the probability of a second Kira?
This time I'd say it's more than 70%.
Elle can also tell that it's not the real Kira because of the vibe.
I really don't like the way he operates. It's not like Kira.
Not like him?
This is when Elle comes to the conclusion that Light should join the task force.
Mr. Yagami, I'd like your permission to ask your son to cooperate with us on this investigation.
Chief Yagami asks if this means that Light is cleared as a suspect, and Elle tells him that while he isn't cleared, his deductive abilities would be a great asset. We then cut to the market where we see Misa talking to Rem, and we get the reveal of the second Kira.
I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been something you said.
We open this episode with Light on the phone with his dad, where Light's being asked to join the task force. Light is buzzing at the fact that the task force approached him and his opportunity to keep an eye on the second Kira.
All along, I've been trying to find a way to get involved in the investigation, but I never thought they would actually approach me. Now I'll have access to classified information about the case.
Light is then introduced to the team and given his new fake name.
I'll have to ask that you call me Ryuzaki here.
I'm Matsui.
I'm Aihara. And I'm Asahi.
Yes, of course.
After the meet and greet, Light is asked to study the tapes from the second Kira, and we get a flashback to Elle telling the team not to tell Light anything because he wants to test Light's skill in deduction.
Well then, we need to ask Light Yagami to assist us. However, we cannot tell him that we're considering the possibility of a second Kira.
While it's not said, it's also fair to assume that Light's answer could increase Elle's suspicion that Light is Kira.
I can't see the real Kira jeopardizing such an easy opportunity to get rid of me.
While Light is watching the tapes, all I can think about is the mud on his name and the piss poor production quality, and when Elle asks what his thoughts on the tape were, Light realized that it was a test all along and pulls an analysis out of his ass.
This video is so mediocre, it's making me sick to my stomach. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm the real one, but this is a complete disgrace to everything Kira stands for.
With how abrupt his speech is, it leads me to think that Light was just talking about what he was thinking without having the proper time to put it through a filter.
Have you come to any conclusions?
Damn, it's a test. It's hard to say for sure, but there might be another person out there with Kira's power.
After Light passes the test, Elle gets into a game plan of how to respond to the second Kira. The plan is to send in a tape of their own, and Elle tasks Light with playing Kira and writing the script.
Huh? Me as Kira?
Yes, you're the only one I can think of who'd be able to pull something like this off.
We then get a great scene where Elle is proofreading the script and Light slipping in some Elle killing in the speech.
I think you've done an excellent job with this. However, if we don't omit the part that says you're free to kill Elle, then I'm gonna end up dead.
It's also a great bit of visual comedy, with the Task Force tape being golden and sparkly and Misa's tape being a Saw clone. While we hear the tape playing in the background, we get to see my heart melt as we pan around Misa's room.
Absolutely clear. Taking this live is against my will. This person claiming to be me is truly sympathetic to my cause and wishes to be of some help. I have two.
After watching the tape, Misa gets her camera ready to send in a reply.
What are you planning to do?
Hello? Do you really need to ask? I'm going to reply to him, of course.
Ryuzaki, we have a reply from the second Kira.
We then cut to the task force a couple days later where they're watching the tape and we get to hear Light's reaction.
If this fake had any idea what my wishes were, he'd insist that Elle appear on TV and then kill him anyway. How could you fall for something like this? Damn it.
Everything's going mediocre until Misa mentions the eyes and then Light shits a brick.
I don't think you have the eyes, but you don't have to worry. I would never try to kill you. That's a promise.
What the hell is he thinking?
Misa also mentioned Shinigami and both Light and Elle shit their pants.
Shinigami?
He's a liability. If I don't do something about him quickly...
Elle because of the reality of Shinigami, and Light because of the absolute liability he has on his hands.
Shinigami? Am I supposed to believe that? Did Shinigami actually exist?
The task force calm Elle down by telling him that Shinigami don't exist, and it's only funny because Ryuka's sitting there in the corner.
Yes, that's right, Ryuzaki. Listen to yourself. Of course Shinigami don't exist.
You're probably right.
Light manages to throw the team off by suggesting that Shinigami could be a code word and not literal.
Saying we can confirm our identities by showing our Shinigami to each other probably means that they'd confirm their identities by somehow demonstrating their ability to kill.
Yes, that's it.
After Light suggests a reply, Elle says that they should just leave it up to the two Kiras and see if they can observe anything.
It could be interesting. And what would be more interesting is if Kira sends a message of his own to prevent this from happening.
We then cut to Misa, where we learn that she's a model, and we meet Rim, who tells Misa how she got her death note.
Oh, then how did I get mine?
Let's just say it has a lot to do with the fact that I'm one of the few in the Shinigami realm who knows how to kill another of my kind.
After hearing that the previous owner died, Misa asks Rim how they died, and Rim tells Misa the full story.
I learned the only way to kill a Shinigami is to make them fall in love with a human.
What a beautiful way to kill.
The story follows a Shinigami named Jealous who fell in love with a human girl and would watch her from the Shinigami realm.
It's today, isn't it? Her last day alive.
She looks so full of life. I wonder why today.
This day would be the day she died, and Jealous was watching and Rim joined to see how she would die.
It was nighttime and she was walking alone. No one else was around. And then it happened.
We see the girl walking down an alleyway when she's interrupted by a crazy stalker with a knife.
I love you more than anyone else in the world. I'm always watching you. I want to protect you forever.
She'd never seen the man before, and of course, turned him down.
After turning the nice man down, the nice man turns into a not very nice man and tries to kill the girl, but Jealous writes the man's name down in his death note so he can save the girl's life.
Without even thinking, Jealous did something that we Shinigami must never do.
This is a real big no-no in the Shinigami realm, so Jealous dies, leaving his death note in a pile of what was not sand nor rust and disappearing. This is when we learn that the rest of Jealous's lifespan was added to the girl and that girl was Misa.
I had no idea. All this time I thought it was luck, but it was a Shinigami who saved my life that day.
My heart then melts just a little bit more when we hear Misa thinking out loud.
But I wonder, does he know how to kill a Shinigami?
We end this episode with Light in a cafe thinking about his next move and Misa eating a sundae doing the same.
I wonder, what kind of person are you, imposter?
I wonder, what kind of person are you, Kira?
Getting into the manga, when the team are talking about Shoko, they go into more detail, talking about how they could be wasting their time because Kira killed her. When L is watching the tapes, he thinks about the production and comments on how the font they used in the video is the same font he used for his L. In the anime, L just kinda wants the broadcast to stop, which yeah. But in the manga, we hear him say that Kira is directly manipulating the minds of the public, which adds more pressure to getting the broadcast off the air. When Chief Yagami is getting the tapes from the station, he makes a point to not only get the master tapes, but any copies the station might have. In the anime, when the team is sending off the envelope to be analyzed, it's just kind of a send it to the labs. Where in the manga they go into more detail with saliva from the stamps or fingerprints. When Light is talking to Ryuk about the second Kira, Light talks about how he can use the second Kira to kill L, but he also talks about using the second Kira as a scapegoat to shift the suspicion from himself. When the task force is talking about the public's decision to kill L rather than the chief of police, L brings up how it was the logical decision because he had taunted Kira on TV earlier in the series, and L talks about how even if he does appear on TV, Kira might not know enough about him to know it's actually L. In the manga, when the task force is talking about the new victims, L says they were reported in a woman's magazine and made an appearance on a talk show, when in the anime they were just TV personalities. I've known the destination, so I can't say if the woman's magazine is a light spoiler or not, but it kind of feels like it is, especially when in the anime they think it's a man for a fat minute and Light doesn't even find out until later on. When L is talking about the tapes from the second Kira, he talks about the production quality and says that if the real Kira were to do something like this, he'd have a better camera and an external microphone. We also get results from the fingerprints a lot sooner in the manga. The team also comments on the fingerprints being small, most likely a child or a woman, which further hints to the identity of the second Kira. L also talks about how the first Kira would probably want to catch the second Kira, and this is before Light joins the task force, which plays into the fact that L thinks Light's the real Kira, and he knows that Light's a good detective and he'd probably want to find the second Kira, which would be another win-win for L. You can assume the same in the anime, but it's laid out a lot better in the manga. Also in the manga, we learn that Misa moved to Japan, presumably after Kira started killing and after she got her death note. L brings up Light playing the fake Kira when he's talking to the task force before Light joins the team, and he also brings up how the real Kira wouldn't let the opportunity to kill L slip through his fingers. Later, when the team is talking about the reply the second Kira sent, L brings up the fact that the second Kira isn't working towards their own goal, but instead they're doing what needs to be done to be able to meet the real Kira. In the anime, the episode ends with Light and Misa in a cafe, but in the manga, Misa sends in another package to the TV station, and this time it also has a page from a diary. It's been a while since I've watched the anime, so they might do something like this in the next episode, but I don't remember Misa sending in a diary page, so I'm curious to see where this goes. Now that Misa's added to the mix, we have the last good character added to the series, and these next few episodes are going to be my favorites. If it's not obvious enough, Misa's one of my favorite anime characters, and this is also the point in the story where Light and L are interacting more directly, which makes for great moments, like when Light was writing the script for the fake Kira video. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe so you can see the next episode when it comes out. I also have videos going over different Batman cartoons from the animated series to beyond. If you want to show your support and get behind the scenes updates on videos, go ahead and check out my Patreon. I can't post links in my video descriptions for a while, but it's patreon.com/pimpturkey69. Thanks for watching, and until next time, later.